Hello to all loyal and new listeners of the BBC American English Channel. This is Marco, and today we begin our journey from the very beginning, a journey that starts among the simple tents of Turkish nomads in the 13th century and gradually becomes a 600-year empire. Before we begin, today's vocabulary word: nomadic, people who move from place to place, not settled. Imagine a cold wind blowing from the Anatolian mountains, wide plains, horses striking the hard earth, and tribal tents with flags fluttering in the wind. This is where Osman is born. He is the son of Ertugrul, a respected tribal leader. But Osman was a young man with a different vision. At that time, the Seleucid Empire was collapsing. The Mongols were pressing from the east, and Byzantium in the west was extremely weak. Pressure everywhere. But chaos has always been the birthplace of heroes. Vocabulary: opportunity, a moment to do something. In this chaos, Osman realized that there was a chance to create something bigger than a tribe. Instead of fighting every neighboring tribe, he connected with them. And this is a key point to remember. Empires grow where leaders connect, not where they divide. Osman wasn't just a commander. He was a storyteller, a speaker, and a source of inspiration. At night, near the fire, while the wind passed through the tents, he spoke to his men about the future, about a great city that must be taken, about a civilization that must be built. Interestingly, some sources say Osman dreamed of a giant tree whose shadow covered 3 continents. This dream later became a symbol of the expansion of the Ottoman Empire. Vocabulary: prophecy, a prediction of the future. But from dream to reality, the road was long, and Osman started step by step. Alliances, fights with hostile tribes, controlling trade routes, and most importantly, building trust. Let me finish this part with one English sentence. Small beginnings can lead to great destinies. Part 2. Orhan, the army, the cities, and building the foundations of an empire. Our journey continues. Today we move to the man who transformed his father's dream from a rough sketch into a solid structure, Orhan Ghazi. Key vocabulary: administration, the system of managing a state or organization. Orhan was not just a warrior. He was a scholar, a manager, a reformer, and a builder. He understood that an empire cannot be built only by the sword. It needs a government, a professional army, a stable economy, and active cities. His first major step: the conquest of Bursa. Imagine a green city full of vineyards, crowded bazaars, and small mosques. When Bursa was captured, the Ottomans had their first real capital. Vocabulary: capital city, the main administrative city of a country. But Orhan's greatest innovation was creating the janissaries. Vocabulary for learners: professional army, trained soldiers. Training: systematic instruction. Loyalty: faithfulness or devotion. Orhan realized that without a disciplined, loyal, professional military force, the empire would always be vulnerable. He built financial, judicial, and military structures. He developed schools, markets, inns, and a strong administration. He also made smart diplomatic decisions, political marriages, treaties, and alliances that made the empire grow steadily. Today's phrase: strong foundations create lasting empires. Part 3. Bloody days, great battles, and the rise of an unmatched power. In this episode, we enter the intense and thrilling years of the Ottoman Empire, a time when European kingdoms grew worried because the Ottomans were advancing like a powerful river toward Europe. Vocabulary. Expansion means the process of growing or increasing. Sultan Murad I, a warrior and strategist, stepped into the scene. Through smart policies and constant victories, he pushed Ottoman influence deep into the Balkans. The Battle of Kosovo, a battle still remembered in Balkan culture. Murad won but was killed at the end. Still, the victory opened the path for further expansion. Then came Bayezid I, the Thunderbolt. Vocabulary. Lightning is a sudden bright flash of electricity in the sky. Bayezid captured cities after another. Europe was terrified. Kings were forced to unite in a massive coalition against him. Yet even they could not stop him. But history always has an unexpected twist. From the east came Tamerlane, Timur, a genius of warfare but ruthless. At the Battle of Ankara, Bayezid was defeated and captured. Imagine, an empire rising like a storm suddenly collapses. The Sultan is captured. Everything is falling apart. Vocabulary. Collapse means to fall down suddenly. But the Ottomans had a special trait: resilience. This resilience allowed them to rise again, reunite, rebuild, and return to the path of expansion. Phrase of the episode: even great powers fall, but true strength is rising again. Part 4. Mehmed the Conqueror. Cannons, ships, and the day the world changed. Now we reach one of the most fascinating figures in history, Mehmed II, the Conqueror of Constantinople. Vocabulary. Siege, a military operation in which forces surround a place to cut off supplies. Mehmed was trained from childhood: military strategy, mathematics, philosophy, the Quran, and even arts. He was intelligent, determined, and brave. When his father died, the empire fell into his hands. He was only 19. But from the beginning, he had one goal: to conquer Constantinople, the legendary city with the famous Theodosian walls, walls that had resisted for 1,000 years. Byzantium was weak, but still powerful enough to resist. Mehmed decided to combine innovation and determination. He built the largest cannons of the era, cannons whose sound could be heard miles away. He shocked the world by pulling ships over land and launching them into the Golden Horn. This maneuver is still studied in military academies as a masterpiece of creativity. The siege lasted 53 days. Arrows, Greek fire, night assaults, underground tunnels, counterattacks. And finally, on May 29th, 1453, the city fell. The bells rang, soldiers shouted, some wept, and the Ottoman Empire reached the height of its power. Mehmed entered the city, but contrary to Western fears, he did not order a massacre. He calmed the people, preserved churches, and transformed the city into a new Islamic capital. Vocabulary. Tolerance, respecting different beliefs or cultures. He rebuilt the city into Istanbul, full of science, art, trade, and life. Part 5. The Golden Age. Suleiman the Magnificent. Art, law, culture, and the secret of Ottoman endurance. Our last episode, one of the most beautiful parts of the journey. We arrive at the era of Suleiman the Magnificent. Vocabulary. Golden Age. a period of great success, prosperity, and cultural achievement. Suleiman expanded the empire, but also made it brilliant. He reformed laws, organized them, and made them more just. That's why he is known as Kanuni, the lawgiver. Arts flourished under him. Architect Sinan built mosques that still amaze the world. Vocabulary. Architecture, the design of buildings. During this period, poets, philosophers, painters, calligraphers, and scholars came to Istanbul from all corners of the world. Trade flowed from Africa to Eastern Europe, and the empire stretched across 3 continents. Suleiman also had a famous love story with Hurrem Sultan, a smart, influential, beloved woman. Her story shows that Ottoman power was not only in swords, it was also in people. Vocabulary. Humanity, compassion, kindness, or human character. The Ottoman Empire lasted 600 years. It fought, built, conquered, collapsed, and rose again, and finally fell. But its story remains alive. Final sentence of the entire series. Empires disappear, but their stories shape the